space. So if you're fearful, then you have no faith. And I was told that if you had enough faith of the size of a mustard seed, you will be able to handle life. So the question at hand is, where is your faith? Where does your faith lie? See, some of us been having our faith lying in the CEO of our companies till they arrested him. Now what? Our faith was in Tyrone. But Tyrone ain't moved off the couch in 3 months. Now what? Our faith was in Sequita. But Sequita, baby daddy, finna get released. Now what? Our faith was in the hopes of our children to reach dreams and to be somebody, to be somebody to pull me out of the slump that I'm in. But what happens when my son is in jail or my son makes the wrong choices and he was my hope? Where is your faith? Ooh, I'm finna go here, Morrison. My faith was in that preacher and that pastor who told me everything was gonna be all right, but I just saw his name in the paper. Ooh. Put your faith in the hands of God. God won't fail you. Matter of fact, Grandmama would say he might not show up when you want him to, but he shows up right on time. He ain't gonna move when you want him to move. He don't move when we move. He moves when he chooses to move. We really wish that we can put life and control it in our own hands. We really wish we can navigate our own way through life. Put my life in my hands, I'm taking out all the pain. I'm taking out all the sorrow. I'm taking out everything that's bad and just live a wonderful life. But then I realized something. If every day is sunny, then I would one day lose the appreciation of the sun. So sometimes I got to have a dark day, so therefore when the sun comes, I'm appreciating the sun. A life, if I control my own life, then I have a life where I don't need God. Because I'm in control. I can tell death, not now. I can tell my job, don't fire me yet. I tell my wife, don't leave me, stay here, you ain't going nowhere. I can tell my kids, behave, go to school, get straight A's, and reach your dreams and be the best that you can be. Because I'm controlling life. But God does not plan for us to control our own life. Life is uncontrollable. Life gives us no warning. Life will set you up. Days that you think it can't get no better, it gets the darkest of the worst. Everything can be going good, then life will show up. You can be full of joy, pain will knock on the door. You can have a smile walking into place, and before you leave, you'll walk out with a frown because life has showed up. Life is simply tough. Then here comes this boy from Mary and Joseph to give you more life. You were sentenced to death. It's been converted to life. Life is unfair. Seems like Ray and all of them on the street corner is got it going on. They riding 3-4 different cars, pockets full of money, and here we are in church every Sunday paying our tithe, but can't make mortgage and rent and insurance. It looks like the sinners are getting blessed than us who are lovers of Christ. It looks like the Joneses are getting more rich. The rich is getting richer, and the poor is getting poorer. It just don't seem fair. I come to church, I'm in men's ministry, I'm in women's ministry, I'm in spiritual development, I'm sowing seeds, but yet I still can't get ahead. Death just left my family. Landlord is tripping, husband and wives is falling out. And I drag myself to church for hope, and all you can tell me is I'm getting some more. Come on, help me out. Life may be hard, but I come to tell you the good news. Life is unfinished. And the reason life is unfinished because Jesus has an extension on life. God doesn't like what you're going through. God does not enjoy your pain and your sorrow. God doesn't like the fact that you went through what you went through and you're going through what you're going through. It hurts God's heart to see you in pain. It hurts him to see you living a life of pain and sorrow and unbelief. He wants you to live a life of prosperity. He says, I come to give you life, not only just to give you life, but you even have more abundant life. That means you already should have abundance in your life. So whatever joy you got, he come to give you more. Whatever pleasure he has placed in your life, he's come to give you more. Whatever little faith you got, he comes to give you more. And matter of fact, you can't have faith unless you trust him. What does that mean? Have faith. Walk into the next interview in faith. Walk into your house in faith. Sit your children down and chastise them in faith. Matter of fact, if God gave you everything you got, then it don't belong to you. It's God's. So here's what you do. You pick up your light bill and you say, Lord, your lights need to be paid. Lord, they done put an eviction notice on your house. Lord, your car is in the shop. Lord, your kids is acting a fool. What do you want me to do? Stop trying to fight these battles by yourself. You can't do it. Especially you single mamas, you can't do it. Remove the buttons. How do you win? Remove the buttons. Whatever the devil can't push and poke at, he ain't got no victory.
Talk today.
But as long as we stay subject to the trials and tribulations of what Satan wants us to do, then we're going to forever be in this roller coaster game called life. I look at life and I laugh. Because I know who and whose I am. Take whatever you want from me, as long as I can stand on God's word. He didn't say I ain't gonna cry. He just simply said, weeping may endure for a night. I can withstand some nights. Wait a minute. He didn't say I gotta cry forever. He didn't say that these tears would kill me. He didn't say that this pain that's bestowed upon me would put me under forever. He simply said, weeping may endure. If you can just endure one night, what comes in the morning?
Joy. All right.
Joy would come in the morning.
Yes.
Don't worry about life. God's plan is for you to have everlasting life. And he holds our future in the palms of his hand. Fact of the matter, church, is you got to stop looking at your issues. Because when you look at your issues, you look at them through your eyes. You got to start looking at your issues through the eyes of God. In man's eyes, they saw 5 pails of water. But in the eyes of Jesus, they saw the best wine that money could not buy. In man's eyes, man saw a raging sea. But in the eyes of Jesus, they saw a walkway in the midst of the waterway. In man's eyes, you would see 2 fish and 5 mighty loaves of bread. But in the hands of the man with the master plan, he saw enough food to fill a banquet. In man's eyes, you would see mud on fingertips. But in the eyes of God, you see mud that transforms to medicine to give sight to the blind. In man's eyes, when you looked upon Lazarus, you saw a dead man who was in the grave for 4 days. But in the eyes of Jesus, he saw somebody sleep. You got to stop looking at your situation through your eyes and look through them through the eyes of God. If my sister was here, she would tell you trouble don't last always. I'm so glad that trouble don't last always. So as I leave you now, church, I tell you, take your problems, take your life, get it out the hands of your friends. Your friends can't help you with your problems. Get your life out the hands of your daddy. Your daddy can't help you in life. Get your life out the hands of your mama. Your mama got her own life to deal with. And ain't got no time or room to deal with yours. Can't put your life in the hands of the naysayers. Because by the time you walk out the door, your life will be on Facebook, it will be on MySpace, it'll be email, it'll be text, and it'll be gossiped about. Get your life out the hands of everybody else and do this one thing. Put your life in the hands of God. The songwriter said, time is filled with swift transition. Not on earth, unmoved can stay. Build your hopes on things eternal. And hold on to God's unchanging hand. Wait a minute. What's so significant about God's hands? Well, I'm glad you asked. It was God's hands that took nothing and slung earth into existence. It was God's hands who took dirt and dust and formed man. It was God's hands who took a man and a woman, put them together, and made all men. It was God's hands who took a seed and made a bushel. It was God's hands that took a bushel and turned it into a bush. In God's hands, it was a bush that he took and turned into a tree. In God's hands, he took a tree and he made wood. In God's hands, he took wood and he made a cross. In God's hands, he allowed his only begotten Son to come down to take your sins and put it in his hands. And they did something with those hands. They nailed it to an old rugged cross. I come to tell you, he died. He died on that Friday, and he went down in the tomb. And Grandmama would tell the story and say, he stayed there for 3 days. But something transpired on that third day. He got up, and he just didn't get up, but he got up with your life and all power. All power in his hands. So if he got all the power, and my life is in his hands. How do you know my life is in Jesus' hands? Well, because Jesus is in God's hands. Well, why does it say that at? Before he died, he said, it is finished. So that means everything you've done, he's already taken care of. He paid the price for your sins. What you've done and what you're going to do. Some of us are going to leave here tonight and be at cream. He's already paid the price for that. Some of us is going to be doing some things this week we got no business doing. He's already did the job for that. It's finished. Your life is in his hands. And then he said, unto thy hands. Whose hands was he talking about? One talking about my hands ain't big enough. One talking about the church's hands, the church hands ain't clean enough. He was talking about God's hands. And if Jesus took my life and put it in his life, and he put himself in God's hands, then where am I? I'm in the hands of God. So come what may, I'm in God's hands. That's right. Whatever the Satan trying to do, I'm in God's hands. Take my job, I'm in God's hands. Take one of my children, like my father had the experience, I'm still in God's hands. Lose a wife, I'm in God's hands. Lock me up, for whatever reason, I'm still going to be in God's hands. It's in God's hands. He came so that you can have life. And I come to tell you, he died on that Friday. But thank God, Sunday came. Yeah.